кажется, що ми накануні грандіозного шухера.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Cosmo, you're watching the Kosmoto channel, and today I'm going to be going over the damage on my 1978 Yamaha DT175. For those of you who didn't see my last video, some idiot let his bike fall off his trailer and now it needs a rebuild. It's not totally wrecked, but it's definitely a bit wrecked, and I'm just going to go in depth about the damage today. But first, bath time! Alrighty guys, so the bike is washed. Boy, does she still look pretty though. I think I'm going to try starting it first just to make sure that it does still start, and we'll go from there. Well, that is really good news. The bike still runs. It did end up just being a fouled plug on the trails, so I'm glad that that is the only thing mechanically wrong with it. Seems to be running exactly the same as it was before, so I don't anticipate there being anything significantly wrong with it. I also did just hose it down with water, and it's running fine, so that's also a good sign. Now let's get into the actual damage from the accident. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess let's just go from the back to the front. And this is only the visible stuff, guys. When I start rebuilding the bike, then I'll know more if there's anything else that's more damaged or cracked. But let's just go over the stuff that I'm certain of. So obviously my taillight is all mangled up. What happened was, well, I'll explain what happened later in the video. I'll explain what went wrong. I'll explain what I could have done better. But the bike ended up falling on its back first, and as you can see, there is some scraping there. It ground down the frame a bit. Nothing too bad. I could probably even give it its curvature back, mostly, and then just get it powder coated or painted. So that's not a huge issue. The seat bumps me out a little bit. As you can see, the seat and the foam have been damaged a little bit. I do have a new seat cover coming, so you know it'll be mitigated, but just another crappy thing about this accident. The exhaust is scratched up right here. I'm surprised that the exhaust hanger is not broken off. That's quite impressive. Nor is it bent in any way. But yeah, so that's messed up. Like I said, the tail light is messed up. Surprisingly, the rear axle on either side is not scratched up. It's not scratched up at all. I'm impressed. So let's keep going, I guess. Side covers are okay, but I don't care about them too much. The bike did fall on the left side, so we're not going to see any damage here. Moving forward, as you can tell, she's pretty twisted up. I don't think the forks are actually bent, but I will also inspect that when I take them off to rebuild them, because I need to rebuild them anyway. They are twisted, but I think it's just a matter of loosening up the triple trees and straightening them out. The tire over here you can see it was scraping down on the tire. So, wait, sorry, that's the wrong side. But there is a scrape there on the tire. And how would that have happened? I don't even know. I don't even know how that would have happened. Fender here got scratched up a bit. Got some of this stuff, some fraying. That's okay. Stickers, not a big deal. I do believe there's a crack right here, but it can be patched up. Or, you know, new fender. Nothing. The rims aren't any more damaged than they already were. This is probably the biggest thing, and this, guys, is what saved the gas tank, because the gas tank is also not any more damaged than it was before all this, which is impressive. So wow, I did a really poor job spraying this thing down. Nah, it's coming out anyway. So handlebars are bent. My clutch lever has been ground down to almost nothing. That's loose. This has been ground down. Grip, whatever. This guy right here, the handguard, has been almost fully ground down. Yeah, I mean, really, that seems to be the most of it. My headlight bucket is ground down here. I'm really surprised the bezel and the glass are not broken. That's really impressive. So, all in all, for what happened, and you guys saw in the thumbnail, like, you saw the bike pinned under the trailer, like it slid like that for a while, and I'm just amazed that there isn't more damage. Like, my first thought was I messed up my gas tank. That was literally my first thought, and my second thought was thank God I didn't affect anybody else with this, because it would have sucked if the bike went flying and hit another car and caused an accident. The kickstand is also messed up, and I have yet to figure out how. I don't think it's bent here or cracked. I don't think it's bent here. I do think that the steel down there, you can't really see it, and I don't want to risk dropping the bike on the other side, but the steel on the pad of the kickstand is layered, and it's like peeled off, so I think that's what's raising the bike a little right now. So once again, guys, I don't want to be getting too excited and saying that this is all the damage, because from what I showed, it's really not that much. I think we can all agree, you know, it's mostly the handlebar setup, and she can be back on the road again, or rather on the trails. However, I do have some plans. I have some big plans for this bike, and I have some plans that will keep me riding in the meantime. So stay tuned for that in the next video, but for now, let's sit down and actually go over why this happened and how this could have been prevented. Alrighty, guys, where do I even begin? So, when this first happened, I was in absolute shock. I didn't believe it was happening. I obviously saw the bike, you know, coming off the trailer and flipping onto the ground, and I felt it dragging under the trailer while I was braking, but it didn't register. Like, I think I was so fed up with my whole day that this felt like the cherry on top, that I blocked it out, because I blocked out all reaction to it for at least the first like hour, because it was already too much. I was having a rough day, and I was having problems strapping the bike down throughout the day. However, I thought I had perfected the strap job, as you would call it, and it handled just fine. Getting to the trails, basically all day, getting to the trails was fine, and well, basically in the last 500 meters it wasn't fine. So I got it back up onto the trailer. As you saw, it was pinned under the trailer. It was being dragged under the trailer. Pretty rough. I feel so bad for this thing. I feel awful for it. It deserves a lot better, and it's certainly going to get a lot better. So stay tuned for that in the next video. But how did this happen? Why did this happen? And as much as I'd like to blame it on S-hooks, which if you know anything about towing straps, you know there's several different styles. One is just an S-hook like this, like that, which is what I was using, or you can get ones that, you know, tie into themselves, which is what I should have been using. Piece of crap. So anyway, I was using S-hooks, and if you're using S-hooks, I guess the protocol is to also use carabiners to secure them, so that this sort of thing doesn't happen. However, I will throw up a photo on the screen right now and explain basically why my bike was also strapped down the wrong way, and I was just thinking about it completely the wrong way. So as you can see in the photo, the bike is strapped down from the front on either end, and it's strapped down on one end on the back right. I thought that this was fine because I would be pressing the rear of the bike onto the wheel and onto the kickstand, and then the front straps would be, keeping the front down. I don't know why I didn't use 4 straps. I should have used all 4 straps, but I didn't, and that was definitely a lapse of judgment. So what happened was I went over a bump just like I've been going over all day, and the S hook on the left front strap completely let loose. The suspension compressed just a little bit more, or I guess the tire compressed just a little bit more because I had a fork saver block between my tire and my bottom triple tree. So it was strapped down there really well. The bike was strapped down really well, but I guess there was still some more give. So when I went over the bump, it basically compressed the suspension a little more. The S hook came out, and the 2 straps that were holding the bike on the right just pulled it right over. I can only imagine how this thing flew, and I'm honestly baffled that the gas tank survived. The only reason the gas tank survived is because the handlebars turned left or the right way. They turned the right way because they saved everything on that side. And otherwise, the gas tank would have been ground down, the seat would have been more ground down, side covers would have been ground down, engine probably would have been ground down. So the peg on the other side is a little bit ground down, but that was basically one of the sliding points. The other sliding point was my handguard, and my handguard is what saved the gas tank, or rather my handlebars on that side is what saved the gas tank, because that whole time that it was sliding, the gas tank was like an inch off the ground, simply due to the bars being turned left and not to the right. So thank goodness for that. I was really worried about the gas tank. Like I said, I'm not sure if the frame is straight or not, but I think it is. Time will tell, basically. But this thing deserves a second life and a second good life. I have some big plans in mind for it. As you guys know, I always have big plans in mind, and I always try to do all these big things, but I think this plan will work out well. I will still be able to ride this season while giving this bike the love that it deserves. As you know, I have the second DT175, and for whatever reason, everybody loves the silver one more than the red one, but I don't know, the red one holds a special place in my heart. This was my first DT. This was my first real enduro, really, I love it. I love it most out of all the DTs just because it's so nimble. It's even got a better power to weight ratio than the DT250, so it's not necessarily a slower bike, but I'm absolutely in love with it, and I want to give it the attention that it needs. I want to bring it back to a really good shape, and it's going to get that. So luckily I have the spare 175 there. You guys will find out more about that. I'm going to stop rambling. Now you know why I screwed up. Now you know what not to do. I'm going to get a wheel chock for my trailer. I'm going to be strapping it down on all 4 sides, and I'm never going to let this happen again. Never losing another bike to negligence, or at least my own negligence, and that's it. Mark my words, because that was just way too painful. I came home and I unloaded, and I got so angry at myself. I got so angry at myself. I was beating myself up for a while, but then I realized I have a choice. I have a choice to either keep crying about it, keep dwelling on it, or I can keep my chin up and rebuild the damn thing and make it bigger and better. Well, not bigger, but definitely bigger and stronger. The engine needs a rebuild anyway, as you guys have heard. It does sound a little rattly, so I'll get into that in the next video. I am a little tired, so I am rambling, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as much as somebody can enjoy seeing a nice little vintage enduro in such a mangled shape. For all you DT enthusiasts, I do apologize. This breaks my heart just as much as it breaks yours, but she'll come back stronger, and it'll be awesome. I'm really excited for the future of this bike, and I just hope you guys are too. So if you did enjoy the video, and if you want to support this future build, yet another build, but if you want to support it, share the video, like the video, comment, ask me questions, give me suggestions. I always love hearing from you guys, and stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna keep pumping them out. I'm on a path to success right now. I wanna keep cracking out projects. I need to ride this season, which means that I have to make some big moves really soon, and it's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for sticking by. Bye.